Stories versus the Schoolyard Scrappers, who you're watching right now. And then
Minor
it's going to be a Minor Assaults mashup.
Yes.
You don't skate, you coach.
I will be here coaching, yes.
That is correct.
It was a points challenge. The blue points stand.
So the deliberation is complete. The Scrappers challenged points, but the original points reported stand.
All right, challenge unsuccessful then. Neither team has a challenge remaining for these 14 seconds of the first half. Draggers, yes, sorry, Draggers, Bender just corrected me. It was the Draggers challenging the Scrappers' points. The Scrappers' points stand. Thank you, yes. All right. Yes, we're all good, thank you. All right, so we line up. We will probably have one jam here.
Draggers again intrepid to make sure that the back line is covered. Dolly and Murder Mittens surveying what openings there might be. Lilu takes the high, Dolly takes the low. Dolly's low lane is wide open, comes around at full speed. Murder Mittens is also out. Jammer race. Dolly's going to be looking ahead to see if there are any dragger points that her teammates are playing offense upon. M's in the back and is scored, and so is Zora. Dolly calls a jam.
All right. Brief jam, but it did deplete the quarter clock. There's some Puerto Rican guys signaling the end of the first half. And at the end of the first half, Scrappers are trying to close the gap a little bit. Your score as we head into halftime, Coffin Dragger 79, Schoolyard Scrappers 58.
Yeah, a significantly better quarter for the
There
Scrappers.
So it'll be a 15-minute halftime break. Step outside, get some Flying K, visit the merch booth, refill your souvenir cup. We're going to give away come along, and we'll do this by amount of applause per person, and then we will judge from there. I believe, yeah, we'll wait for, I think we're judging from up here. We have a good vantage point to hear all the applause.
I feel like I'm biased toward Beetlejuice. Biased. Is that everybody?
Do we have everybody? All right. Looks like we're about ready to get underway.
Misty arrived. That she might have been the last person. Anybody else in costume? Allie, are you ready? Allie is ready. Okay, remember, person who gets the loudest applause will be the winner. We're ready.
Okay, here we go. Cheer for the person that Allie is behind. There we go. All right, we're keeping tabs. We're keeping tabs. All right. All right. They like Guy Fawkes. We're good. All right. Here we are. That's number 5. Thank you. Good cheer for number 6. Thank you.
Is that Dexter?
I think so. I think, yeah, there's an X. I'm going to guess that's Dexter. All right, there we are. I know that's Hurt. Oh, okay. I get it.
Oh, they're in group costume. They're group costume.
I like it. We have Pikachu. We got this astronaut. Astronaut seems to get a pretty good cheer. There we go. Not bad, not bad. Looks like we got last one. Last one.
I like it. We definitely have the top 3. We're going to go through one more time. We have top 3. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, we do. Number 1, Beetlejuice. Number 4, V for Vendetta. And the astronaut. Number 3, by crowd applause.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, I feel like that was a pretty clear top 3.
Thank
Not
you
bad.
so much for everybody for
Participating. Yes. Thank
And
you
then,
so much.
Hurt, do I draw this yellow ticket now?
Lolly couldn't see you over the edge of the track, unfortunately.
We're ready. He's arrived.
All right, everybody's getting set. We're ready to get back to the action. Once again, your score is 79-58. Coffin Draggers in front. Schoolyard Scrappers.
So any adjustments that the teams wanted to make in their strategy from the first half, they would have made. You see the team switch benches. It's very much like other sports that offense and defense are played at the same time at halftime. Track position is determined by the actual switching of which side of the court and or field and or pitch the team plays from. We happen to skate in an oval, but you get it.
Underway with the first jam of the second half, and there was Batty Matty was really getting close to the front of the pack, but took a big hit down onto the infield.
Strange coming around to score on their first scoring pass. Maddie still in the pack, a little pirouette, and she has passed Olive. Strange coming in at full speed, trying to take advantage of there really being no blue wall yet. Peak and Venus working together in the front. A strong block to the chest from Peak to take Strange to the infield. Jam's over. And very much like the Draggers were in the first half, you see the Scrappers trying to take advantage of the close bench. So we have Remy and Dolly on the back line for the Scrappers, Mimi in the pivot alley, and it looks like a six-pack. There was a little bit of a player advantage, but both teams have a player in the penalty box. Sandy on the jammer line for the Schoolyard Scrappers and Murder Mittens for the Draggers. They both cut up and around on the high lane. Sandy gets caught, and Mittens does not.
Sandy now had run up into at the front of the pack. I believe that wearing the pivot stripe for them right now. That's Stitches. I couldn't see. That's why it's a dim number on the back of the jersey. Meanwhile, there goes Sandy out the front of the pack. And here comes Murder Mittens on her scoring pass attempt.
Yep, and you see Blue in points protect in the front, trying to neutralize how many points Mittens is able to score. Peek on the jammer line for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and All of You Die for the Draggers.
Coffin Draggers tack a couple more points up on the board.
84 Draggers, 58 Scrappers. Peak approaches, as does All of You Die. All of You Die temporarily caught up by the blue wall in the back. Fighting against Twin now. And now Metal on the low side. Cuts around to the rail and is then stopped by V at the top. Peak coming around lead jam for the Scrappers. Olive still not out. Neutralized to the infield in turn 3. Peak coming around to score. Olive working toward the front of the pack. Blue able to recycle and re-engage, but she eventually slips out. Peak coming around to score, probably the only pass that's going to be possible. Again, trying to squeeze her hips past anybody, even if she doesn't get past, to score their point.
So 3 points up on the board for the Schoolyard Scrappers. We're going to have a stoppage in play.
Peak was emphatically calling for a challenge. Looks like Thrill Sarge did go ahead and throw the challenge flag. Regulators have brought down everybody off of the track. Gare Bear and Sarge talking to Lollipop.
So all right, the 50-50 cash raffle right now is at $190. That's $95 to the winner. And hey, if you're here in person, you could be a winner. That's right, you got to be present to win. So your odds go up sharply if you buy more raffle tickets and put them in the hopper. Once again, those are 1 for $5 and 3 for $10.
You could buy a lot of Halloween candy with that, that you could share or not share. Scrim says don't share.
Derby Dames fans, don't forget your Derby party. Your Derby bout after party is at Boycott. There's a Boycott Bar, which is on 7th Avenue, just north of Indian School. It's really close to Copper Star Coffee. It's just past Short Leash, other things along there. So be sure to stop by there right after the bout. Of course, we'll be done here in a little bit.
I also think that as we approach the end of the third quarter, the snack bar and the merch booth will be closing. So go ahead and visit the merch booth for any hats, T-shirts, any other cool swag you might have seen somebody else wear. It's probably available for sale at the merch booth. Also, go ahead and visit and have your souvenir cups filled if you purchase a souvenir cup. And visit the snack bar for those last-minute candies with who is over there? May's over there and Clutch. Go ahead and see May and Clutch in the snack bar if you're still hungry or thirsty.
Those souvenir cups, you'll be able to fill those up till the end of this quarter. Don't forget, so perhaps during this challenge or other stoppages in play, feel free to drop by there and make yourself able to have some of that before the end of the bout.
2 people heard us, Clifton. They
All right.
immediately are reported
That's
to the
right.
merch booth.
Once again, we'll mention it again. The next bout is Doomsday Valkyries versus Schoolyard Scrappers and Minor Assaults Mashup. That will be on November 11th. If you're here in person and you see those flyers up on the stanchions around the track, you can scan the QR code and get pre-sale tickets for the next bout, so get your place in line. Once again, that is Saturday, November 11th, right here at 5 p.m.
And for the first time after many seasons of requests, season tickets are available. I believe those
There
same
you go.
flyers, they have a QR code if you're interested in season tickets as well.
As the regulators continue discussing the penalty there in the back straightaway, wanted to mention one more time, it's the regulators' Spooktacular Chili Cook-Off. That'll be held at Daddy-O's Bar, 43rd Avenue and Thunderbird. It is at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. and it is $20 to enter your chili. We believe it will be $10 to sample chili. Go through and have a whole lot of chili. It's very delicious. Once again, that's at Daddy-O's Bar and Grill, and that is at 43rd Avenue and Thunderbird. And head on over that way, 6 p.m., sundown-ish, for the chili cook-off. Benefits the regulators. Challenge has just wrapped up, so we'll wait for Bender to come up here and tell us what's going on.
Yep, we're going to get the report from Bender and tell you.
All right, so we had a back block penalty assessed to the Schoolyard Scrappers jammer in that previous jam, and that penalty was upheld. Challenge unsuccessful. Coffin Draggers will have a power jam.
So this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for the Draggers to open up a little bit more of a lead, only up by about 20 points right now.
Yeah, it's
successful. Go ahead.
been a defensive slog so far. Obviously, we're quarter of the way into the third quarter, and neither team is really close to 100 yet, let alone having not broken it. So points are hard to come by, and obviously power jams are going to start being very valuable here as the game reaches its later stages.
100%. The Draggers are absolutely going to try to bring their score to at least 100 points in one fell swoop. We'll see if they're successful. I don't know what they're going to do, but it is not uncommon for teams to have particular lineups who are designated to skate power offense and power defense for their team. So it looks like Blue is sticking with the back wall strategy. So what you should see is some visual identification of Murder Mittens. You see all the Blue skaters turning around and looking Murder Mittens squarely in the face. Visual identification helps the jammers be seen by the defense, and the defense be more successful at staying in front of them.
And now we've had a star pass right away. Look at that. That was the strategy coming out of that, was to hand the star over. Taking over his jammer is Hugs and Stitches. Murder Mittens is going to switch to defense for the power jam, and Stitches blast right through in a little tiny apex jump on the first scoring pass.
Blue is successful in points protect and running the accordion. Mimi yo-yoing back and forth, being that person to make the pack if necessary. M is up, takes Remy to the rail to try to get a point, is successful, and ideally has a blue goad in the back for the black. Split pack now. The pack is not a little bit of confusion about where the pack was for me up here. Appears that Stitches is not out all the way yet. pushing the last blue blockers to the edge of the engagement zone, and then is let go in the front, but the jam expires.
Yeah, little regulatory confusion there. However, at the end of the day, it's a 10-point power jam for the Coffin Draggers, and as we said, I mean, the Coffin Draggers just increased their score by 12% in one power jam, so 94-61 Draggers in front at the moment. That's Dr. Strange at the jammer line for the Draggers.
And looks like full Metal Anarchist for the Scrappers, affectionately known as Metal. Metal full head of steam, ends up hitting Strange and Olive. Temporarily held up there in the back of the pack. Strange struggling, squeezing out on the rail. Takes a tumble and is recycled back in by Twin and Maddie in the front. Metal takes that opportunity to squeeze that on the rail and is lead jam. Olive plays a little bit of offense. Peak and Maddie and Twin all able to recycle to the front to make sure Strange doesn't get out. No offense being played for Metal yet. And a little pincer move by the Draggers to take Metal down to the track. Quick recovery, however, still coming around, still actively scoring. Strange yet to out. Twin neutralizing Strange again in turn 3. Metal still actively scoring. 5 seconds left in the jam. We'll see if Metal can get around to get any more points. She is not going to make it. Fantastic jam by Metal. Fantastic regular jam. One full pass, including the jammer lap point for Metal. 5 points for the Scrappers. Dolly coming around to score, or Dolly coming around to jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and now coming around to score out of the pack lead. Murder Mittens with the panty stashed. Remy and Mimi neutralizing in the front with a blue power couple. Active attack by Mittens and Stitches. Pivot and Jammer working together. Not sure who has the panty. It's a successful stash because I didn't even know that Stitches had it until just now. Dolly's coming around to score. Stitches coming around on a pseudo jammer race. Dolly's a lap ahead. Dolly calls the jam before Stitches can pass any blue skaters. Dead?
Yeah, the wireless. So now I got to go back to this thing.
Good luck.
Same one I used the other night.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
You got enough? Okay. On the jammer line for the Coffin Draggers is Aunt Tifa and Batty Maddie for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Scrappers back wall. Temporarily holds up Tifa. Tifa uses agility and some lateral movement to try to get around. Takes a tumble in the high side of turn 1 and is still being actively contacted by the blue defensive wall. Maddie's coming around to score. Tifa sweeps past Venus's rear end in the bottom of turn 2 and is out on her scoring pass as well. Maddie calls the jam. Blue's got some penalties to be served, so we should see some shift in how many people are on the track. Yep, Kitchuation get up. Saved by some Puerto Rican guy, Bell. OTO. You got nothing? Okay.
You're doing a wonderful job.
You all didn't hear it, but Clifton just said I was doing a wonderful job. Yeah. So these OTOs do allow for teams to get a little bit of extra break, take a little bit of water, catch their breath, change any strategy they might want to, adjust for the penalties that are going to be served. Sometimes those late calls from the regulators do interrupt the strategies the teams planned on executing. So looks like Mimi and Remy and Dolly would have had a little bit of extra time to figure out what they're going to do instead. Draggers have, looks like, a full lineup coming up for them. So it'll be interesting to see what Mimi and Remy decide to do. Regulators are calling for people being ready. Players mount the track. Dolly Spartan on the jammer line for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and Murder Mittens for the Draggers. And Bolt is here, everybody. Lilu, old name, sorry. Murder Mittens swoops around on the bottom, as she has been successful doing all night, and gets out lead jam. Dolly coming around to score as well. Jammer race. So blue wants to go fast, and black wants to go slow. If blue can in the front and gets into points protect, they can continue to skate fast. Mimi unsuccessful at keeping Murder Mittens from taking the low right there in the apex. Full scoring pass for Murder Mittens, and 0 for blue. All of you die on the jammer line for the Draggers, and twin for the Scrappers. All right, the jam's underway. Both jammers actually tried to squeeze out of the same seam. Neither was successful at getting lead yet. Recycle and re-engage by the Scrappers in the front on Olive. A temporary tripod from Peak, but Olive is out lead jam. I see Olive's dad proudly taping. Hi, Olive's dad and mom. So twin is coming around, not lead. Olive's actively scoring, trying to get this last point. Peak says no. Olive still has a few seconds. Goes ahead and calls the jam. Ooh, a little bit of late collision there at the end. I hope everybody is okay. Okay, so on the jammer line for the Draggers, we have Murder Mittens and Sandy for the Scrappers. Some penalties being served by both teams. Looks like a six-pack in there. We have Remy, Mads, and Mimi for the Scrappers. Looks like Stitches, M, and Foxy in there for the Draggers.
All right. Looks like I'm back on the mic now. That's fantastic.
Star stash and a pass again. Stitches is out in the front.
Once again. Coffin Draggers, by the way, it's worth mentioning. Draggers are up over 100 for the bout, 102.76.
And they do love a star pass, Clifton. Trying to keep this pack nice and fast to avoid being scored. Stitches is able to sweep up and around Mimi and go for a whole pass. Sandy is unable to score points, but did come around at a very high rate of speed.
We are going to have an official timeout now. Nope. I'm sorry, team timeout.
Team timeout, Scrappers.
There we go. Team timeout, Scrappers. Well, I don't have my glasses on, so I saw somebody waving their arms, and I said, that looks like a timeout. 106.76 at the moment. Coffin Draggers are trying to keep that lead built up. It's 4:30 to go until the end of the third quarter at the moment. Thank you for covering that. Yeah, the receiver end of the mic died. Nice and charged.
It's a lot of moving pieces that have to be working.
Is the chili cook-off at 6 or 7? Because, again, they never gave us any notes on this.
I want to say, I feel like if you roll up at 7, all the chili's gone already. Everyone is having plenty of drinks, but I feel like everyone's already.
All right, looks like we're just about ready to get back to the action here. 4:30 to go until the end of the third quarter. Don't forget, during the last quarter break, a great chance to visit the merch booth. Don't forget the merchandise booth has new team merchandise. Those Valhalla Calls Doomsday Valkyrie shirts are really nice looking. And you can stop by there, get yourself some. I heard somebody cheer. Get yourself some league and team merchandise, all of your favorite teams, the Minor Assaults, the Hot Shots. There's been Hot Shots tryout recently. That's going to be a thing soon.
I think the Hot Shot coaches are actually in deliberation now.
Oh,
and
well
in the
then.
next few days,
All right.
the first Hot Shots roster in about 3 years will be
That's right.
announced.
So now
Super
we're all
excited
we're just waiting around, waiting for the white smoke to raise from the chimney.
Yes.
Yes.
to see
Perfect.
who has been selected.
Yes.
The conclave, indeed. It looks like the Scrappers are ready with a plan. Lots of smiles, seem to be in good spirits. Feel like they have something that's going to work against their opponents, the Coffin Draggers. Draggers take the track. Scrappers take the back line. Is it a power? It's not, but it is
not.
a small pack. Looks like Blue has a 2-skater advantage. Olive on the... Dolly thinks she's funny. She's been confusing me for Skid Vicious the last few times we've seen each other. Dolly working on Tifa in the front, out lead Jam. Olive still struggling behind Remy and Twin in the back. And Sandy as well joined in the defensive effort. Dolly just has 2 to beat and does. Gets that lap point as well. Coming around, blasts Tifa on the rail. Coming around for another scoring pass. Olive gets past Mimi and is very excited. Squeals. Squeals in excitement. Dolly coming around to score. Tifa trying to stay in points protect, but is unsuccessful. Dolly comes around on the low and calls a jam. No points for the Draggers. And 9 for the Schoolyard Scrappers. A fantastically executed regular jam.
Scrappers still trying to hack into that lead. We definitely now have a timeout. That is an official timeout. This time I'm sure of it. The regulators need to talk over a little bit of the action there. So right now, Coffin Draggers are sticking to that lead. It's 106-85 at the moment. Coffin Draggers in front by 21. 3:30 to go until the end of the third quarter.
Coming down to the last few minutes to visit our merch booth, fill your souvenir cup, or our snack bar.
Pick yourself up some cash raffle tickets, all sorts of wonderful things. We want to again say hello to everybody on Twitch. If you're saying hello back, we can't hear you. That's not how Twitch works. However, thank you very much for joining us. All hail the Disco Skate. All hail the Disco Skate if you join the Twitch chat. Jump in our Twitch chat, share some pogs and oohs, and you might even get yourself a Disco Skate emoji. So that is great. It's not as good as a Golden Kappa, but, you know, Disco Skate emoji still pretty cool.
Lots of nods of a maybe agreement from
Right.
all the people in the stripes. Some thumbs up. Some water being consumed. All right, looks like we're about to be underway. We'll try that one more time.
All right. Here we are. I see. It's good to see Infidel Castro out there on skates. Infidel Castro, the erstwhile coach of the Doomsday Valkyries, is also a retired regulator and is out there tonight filling in. Freya Hugs, among others. Freya homesick. So, hi, Freya, if you're watching. She has been sick all week and feels terrible. So we have some referees subbing in, just like we have on our home teams. Jam underway. Batty Matty gets spun off onto the infield after starting off very quickly off the jammer line. Looking over at the back straightaway, the Coffin Draggers are in the middle of...
And that star has
There we
been
go.
passed. I don't know if you saw that right here in turn 3.
There we go. Yes, there it is. So taking over his stitches once again. The Coffin Draggers employing that. You see a lot. You don't see it a lot here. I feel like you see that a lot more like when we have invitationals. Mad sliding down and calls it off, heading down towards the end at the bottom of the track. But yeah, not a strategy that a lot of home teams here employ as a regular thing. And obviously the Coffin Draggers using it to their advantage tonight.
Right. If you think about it as a strategy being played, it actually is fraught with risk.
Yes.
So as you're taking that star off of your head, so you are reaching your own hand and arm up above shoulder level. It's not uncommon to accidentally contact an opponent above the shoulders. And then as you're flinging that panty gripped in your hand to your pivot, it's not uncommon to have to go past people's helmets and inadvertently hit them in the helmet as well.
So there's Dolly Spartan, lead jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers. And don't look now, the Scrappers are already under 20 points. The lead is already under 20 points, and now Dolly weaving through. Dolly
calls
picks
the
up
jam.
the 4 and calls it off.
So in situations like this one, Blue wants to maintain as much clock as possible because they want more jams because they are currently behind.
That's right. We are going to set up here now. Schoolyard Scrappers are on one heck of a run at this point. And the lead is only 14 at the moment, 106-92 with 1:30 to go until the end of the third quarter. That's Murder Mittens and Batty Matty.
So Maddie working away past Stitches. It's the second jam in a row that Stitches was the culprit, spinning her off into the infield. Murder Mittens coming around lead. Maddie's coming around second. Wants to keep that sprint on to make sure that Murder Mittens scores as few points as possible. Blue trying desperately to get into points protect, and they do. Blue escape to the front, and with them meaning the pack is up. Lilu wants to make, well, Murder Mittens tries to squeeze past as many as possible. I saw some points being reported. We'll wait for the official. 3 points for the Coffin Draggers. Good job, Murder Mittens.
However, in what is now most certainly going to be the last jam of the third quarter, it's going to be a power jam for the Coffin Draggers. The Draggers put 3 points up on the board on that last jam, and now they get a power jam. So they're going to try to put an exclamation point on this third quarter here.
And it looks like both teams with penalties being served. Got 3 blockers remaining for the Scrappers and 3 for the Draggers. Power jam 6-pack.
All right, power jam underway. Quickly to the front of the pack. There goes Tifa. Tifa takes off around those 2 blockers for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and Tifa's out and clear, active scorer.
Tifa's coming around on the first scoring pass. So what the Draggers want to do is separate at least one blue player from their teammates and push out the other 2 to the very edge of the engagement zone where they have to let her out. You saw Mimi and Twin both go up to the rail. That is where they can be that traffic cone, Clifton. They have to yield the bottom 4 feet when they're
you
out
saw
of play.
that right there at the front of the pack. So now Mimi and Twin at the front of the pack are holding up. Here comes Tifa. Scoring pass is going to try to get by Mimi on the inside and runs out of room. Mimi closes the door. It stops herself from going off the track too, which is what you got to do as a blocker.
Out of play again in the front.
There we go.
Tifa
However,
gets the rest of those points.
those blockers do their job, and they ate up about 5-6 seconds off the clock, and that's the difference between another scoring pass and not. So we'll check on it. It's a 10-point power jam for the Coffin Draggers.
Yeah,
So,
fantastic goading effort there in the
There
back.
we go. Into the third quarter, Coffin Draggers are going to stretch that lead just a little bit, so we'll have 15 minutes to go. Coffin Draggers 119, Schoolyard Scrappers 92.
Okay, we got a merge toss out. Shirley making her rounds. Oh. Mr. Watts, the winner. We got Denise in straightaway number 2, and another catch by a young fan in the bleachers. Thank you for participating, everybody. All right, fourth quarter counting down. Some Puerto Rican guy blows them up. Strappers take the back line. Dolly to jam for them. And Murder Mittens on the line for the Coffin Draggers.
So the Schoolyard Scrappers here, down 119.92, and obviously we were talking during the quarter break just now. The Scrappers have had a couple people foul out. 7 penalties and you foul out, by the way. That was not mentioned at the outset. So they've lost a couple of their primary defenders and are fighting an uphill battle here now against time and the Scrappers defense. Getting out of the pack.
And the Scrappers do a little star stash and pass on their own. Stitches is able to catch Mimi in the front. Mimi's not out yet, but struggling to get past. Stitches uses that flat track hip twist to make sure that Mimi doesn't get out long enough anyway for Murder Mittens to come around on a scoring pass. A nice strong blue wall in the back. Lulu jumps. Doesn't land it, but you can, again, score points in the air. And as long as all of your body that was on the track at the beginning is on the track at the end, you can still call the jam.
Now, at the end of that, was that Murder Mittens calling off the jam, or was that just the sickest air guitar you've ever seen?
It was a combination of Rockstar and call off.
Look at that, just sliding to a stop, and then just the signal to call the jam off. And all I could picture is like Eddie Munson at the end of that Stranger Things thing.
It's a special talent for your legs to even bend that way.
Right. We have Batty Matty at the jammer line for the Scrappers. That's all of you die for the Coffin Draggers.
Tried to pull a little pirouette around Tifa and was eventually successful. Out lead, Mimi versus all of you die at the front. Recycle and re-engage by Mads. Mimi, neutralization to the infield, but they're out of play. Maddie coming around, lead jam for the Scrappers.
Olive closing in now from behind.
Right. And the Scrappers just want to make sure not everybody gets away, be able to pull that trap.
And Batty Matty trying to look like a shortstop sliding into second base. So we're going for most stylish call-off here in the fourth quarter. That was pretty good. That is going to be 4 more for the Schoolyard Scrappers. So the battle continues apace.
Yes, Mads never lacked style.
We've got Murder Mittens for the Draggers, and that's going to be Sandra Slay O'Connor for the Schoolyard Scrappers. 12:48 to go in regulation.
Sandy coming around, trying to not get stuck behind a wall of draggers. Zora and Foxy, good lateral movement, but not good enough. Sandy comes around, lead.
We got a star pass back behind, and Hugs
Stitches is coming around like a bat out of Hades. Sandy's looking for any points that are available. Sees Foxy's in the back. Passes and calls a jam. It's going to get that one.
I just saw Stitches there trying to put the star on in the corner and then thought better of it and got on the straightaway to finish that off. I was like, yeah, no, don't try to drive your car when you have your hands in front of your face.
And for folks out in the audience or those watching that might not know, yes, as Clifton said earlier, the star can go from the original jammer to the pivot, but the star has to be on the helmet for scoring to be awarded. So once they do have it, they do have to put it on.
So 1 point there for the Scrappers. After all that, Sandra Slay O'Connor. This is Dolly Spartan for the Scrappers this time. It's Rickety Bones for the Coffin Draggers for the first time in a while. Dolly was almost clear, but gets tripped up there, and now here comes Bones trying to find an opening, but gets shoved up into the rail, and there goes Dolly along the inside. Big collision at the back of the pack. That was Strange and Remy running into each other. That's funny. So now catching up on the scoring pass. Here comes Dolly for the Scrappers.
Dolly straight through an open seam in the dragger wall.
And Dolly calls it off. Unofficially, I believe that's going to push them up over 100. We'll check on it officially here momentarily. And it does. Schoolyard Scrappers break 100. 128-101. Scrappers are staying within shouting distance with 11 minutes to go in regulation. It seems like, right, the skaters that are out there now have, especially for the Scrappers, you can really tell the toll this is taking when they're not having a lot of time to rest between jams. I'm just saying, as far as you can just see that there's a lot of people kind of catching their breaths and hands on hips. It's this game has been taking a physical toll on both teams. It's pretty clear.
Well, the scores are this low, like you said, Clifton. That's obviously
Right.
a lot of defense is being played. And when done properly, both sides, offensive and defensive, should have a little wear and tear after a minute.
So there's Stitches sliding in, a big collision. I saw Kitch go down, and now fighting her off the track. There's Evil Twin with a great individual defensive effort. Now has to kind of let Stitches go. Sandy gets routed off onto the infield, so Stitches will come around for another scoring pass.
I hear the Scrappers calling for a wall. So maybe abandoning some of their offensive strategies in favor of additional
Oh, my
defense.
goodness, what a block. Stitches came through off balance, and you could almost see Evil Twin say, I'm almost sorry I have, almost, and then just delivered Stitches right on her tailbone to the infield. You saw Stitches wince when she hit the ground there, but gets both scoring passes on the books, does Hugs and Stitches.
And I hear Bob calling power O. So even though there's an OTO, it appears
All right,
that
so
the Scrappers will have a power offense after the deliberation.
that is what it appeared. It appeared that the Scrappers are going to have a power jam with 9:40 to go. We'll check on it after the official timeout. There's still penalties being filtered in down there. I see Rainbow Crash gesticulating at somebody. So don't make Crash mad. So brief stoppage and play, then 9:40 to go. Been such a fantastic time having everybody here this evening, and the costume contest, I think, was well attended. I thought that was really fun. So had a very good time with that as well.
Yeah, good job, PR or warehouse or bout production.
Oh,
Whoever
absolutely.
thought about that. That was a really good way to engage our audience, and I had fun watching.
And
in,
as we
in my pseudo costume. One of my minor assaults parents said I looked like a coach, so I got my whistle out of my trunk and I put it on, and here
There
I
you
am.
go. Well, as I was saying before, for many years at my office job, I worked outside in overalls and boots for a long time, and then when I moved into my office job for several years at Halloween, I was a farmer, and then a painter, and then a carpenter, then a cable guy, and I basically just put either a paintbrush or a hammer or some coaxial cable in my hammer loop on my overalls. It worked great, and I got free slices of Fry's party subs every year. Cool.
And then overalls came back into style, Clifton.
Well, I know. Well, not mine. My overalls will never be back in style. I don't bring sexy back. Sexy stays right where it is. All right, we have a totem. That
totem.
symbol is a totem. That is not a safety. We are not awarding 2 points to the defense. We have a totem, and that means, let me see if I get this straight. That means that we have more penalties than they can actually assess during this jam. So that was, I'm going to guess on the Scrappers. And what that means is that they have what is called a must skate. So they will have skaters that skate in this jam, and then they'll have a penalty to serve in the next jam. So what we're going to have here is a power jam for the Coffin Draggers. The Schoolyard Scrappers only have 2 blockers, and then the Scrappers are already going to start the following jam down 1 blocker. That's where we're at.
And it's double jammer down?
And it's double jammer down. Is
Okay.
it? Well, nobody signaled that. I can only tell what's been signaled.
Both teams have more
I don't know. I don't believe so, but I believe there was penalties on both jammers is what they're saying.
whiteboard so badly.
No, we know that. Totem, we know. Thank you. Well, anyway.
We'll be able to determine by when they whistle up the next jam.
Yeah, well, okay, I believe, no, look at that. It may be a double totem. There
Double.
is the minimum out there. There are 6 skaters. That's a 4-pack. That's a fancy beer 4-pack out there.
There we
along
go,
with
tiny
Dolly
packs.
Spartan and Dr. Strange. No!
Okay.
There goes Kitch. Apparently
Looks
Kitch
like
gets
the
it.
totem's
The totem was on the draggers, not the scrappers. All right, I think we sorted it out. Look at that.
Strage coming through at full
Encyclopedia Brown.
speed. Blows right past Mimi, does a knee tap, and keeps on going. They are lead jam. Dolly working on Tifa. Mimi working on Tifa to get Dolly out. Dolly's also coming around as a threat. Remember, Blue wants to get into points protect. Kitch and Mimi made it into points protect, stopping Strange at the front. Pack is split. Pack is back.
Big
Hard
collision
hit
there.
on Dolly right in the abdomen.
Yeah, we'll take a stoppage and play.
I think she's okay. Probably just got the wind knocked out of her.
fall there and kind of fell awkwardly down onto the infield. Checked on her, and everything appears to be okay. Medical staff. I know that's Nacho Mama, and I believe we have another newer medic down there this evening. We always say we certainly hope that our medics on the infield, who are also volunteers, we hope they're never called into action, but when they are fantastic.
Okay, looks like blue is just at a regular penalty, right, Clifton, in that
Right.
previous jam. So
Yes.
and does not appear to have any assessed in that
Yeah.
jam.
So
So
they
they're
should be
coming up
strong. And then
full.
like
Yeah.
we were saying, the draggers then are going to start at least one down here. I saw something really interesting there. You saw Kitch and Mimi at the front of the pack, and then Kitch was blocking the jammer, and then Mimi was in front of Kitch where Mimi could see around Kitch, and Mimi was just steering Kitch by her arms and steering her up and down the track to keep her in the way of the jammer. And it's little things. They're not even on the same team. Kitch is a sub. Mimi plays for the Coffin Draggers. So we have a challenge. So with
Yeah,
8:55 to go. Coffin Draggers are going to challenge, so there's a whole lot going on. But yeah, it's interesting the little things you see as far as defensive strategies. And yeah, just take your teammate and then just park them in the way.
And because I'm good for it, there is actually a name for that. It's called the truck and trailer. The truck and trailer.
Fantastic, and I could see why it's called that. Looks like we're going to have a points
And
challenge.
if you have
There-
any energy left, there's Whitney Houston for you on the
That's
radio.
right. Does anybody here feeling like dancing with somebody? Can I see somebody get that? Oh, well, you're busy. You can't. No. You do the challenge.
We have
Does
the
anybody
crow's
but
nest
Reffy
pumped
want to
up.
dance? Reffy's working right now. Okay.
We have brides representatives in the crow's nest. We have Ash over there, and who is that? Shank? Is that Shank? Yes, Shank and
There we
Ash
go.
over there. And Nikki here in
Yeah.
turn 3,
we
obviously
go.
dancing with somebody. That
Scrim
somebody is
dancing.
Tucci.
Scrim is allowed to dance because Scrim is not the eye that's currently in the challenge. There we
We're
go.
keeping it going in all corners.
Crash. Good
we have
job, Crash. Thank
with
you.
a pseudo robot. I don't know. I don't
don't
know.
know.
Get wild.
It's about like I dance.
Okay, 0 is also just Scrim is up.
Oh, go. There goes Scrim.
There
All
goes
right.
our representative.
This is an all-inclusive
Our,
challenge.
our dancing representative. We're
Does
just tapping our
anybody-
toes underneath the table, me
Yeah.
and Clifton.
Does anybody need me? Does anybody want me to come down and offer my advice on the situation? I think everybody did a great job of rolling. Thank you. All right, we are checking on that. Meanwhile, the challenge continues. We'll let you know one more time, as I've done during the last couple of challenges. It just seems like such an appropriate time to mention the regulators' spooktacular chili cook-off. Once again, that's at Daddy-O's Bar and Grill. It's at 6 p.m. It is $20 to enter your chili, and it's going to be $10 to eat the chili. There will be an audience winner. There will be a judges winner. Myself and Bill, my erstwhile co-announcer, who is, I believe he's taken a little sabbatical with Amelia Gerhart away in San Diego, and I know Ginger has not skating. But Bill and I, when we enter food contests, we win them. So we're not entering this so other people can win. And that's what the announcers do for you. We're nice.
This is your year, everyone.
Black challenged points. We are awarding black 2 points.
Okay, it was a points challenge. The Coffin Draggers challenged the fact that they got no points, and after much discussion by both eyes in the sky, the Coffin Draggers get 2 points. So, Draggers' lead stretches out by just that much, and one might say 2 points, and it's like, well, you know what? If the game ends 140 to 139 Coffin Draggers, then that will have been an extremely well-used challenge, and you would not believe how often that kind of thing happens in sports.
All right, another former minor assault mashup on the jammer line. We have Hugs and Stitches for the Coffin Draggers and Batty Matty for the Scrappers. Draggers thought they had everybody, but they are sitting for a penalty. So we have a full complement of Scrappers out there and one short for the Draggers. Jumping through, both jammers out in turn 1. Maddie decides wisely to call the jam. Stitches hot on her heels.
I believe Hugs and Stitches, if I'm counting correctly, I think she skates in 7 leagues. If I'm 7, 8, perhaps.
A lot of roller derby is being played by
Yeah.
that person.
Yeah.
We have All of You Die for the Draggers and Dolly Spartan reprising her role for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
So after that very brief jammer race, it is a full pack out there this time. Nobody in the penalty box. Olive tries to sneak by on the inside and runs out of room. Now goes to the high side and also runs out of room.
Recycle and re-engage going on actively in the back. Olive trying to push the last 3 scrappers to the edge of the engagement zones, unsuccessful. The pack collapses in, and now Olive has another 20 feet. In the confusion, Dolly squeaks out on turn 3 in the low. Olive still in. The Kitchuation in front. Remy and Mimi and the Kitchuation recycle and re-engage Olive on the high side. Enema Burns in the back to maybe play a little bit of offense for Dolly. Dolly and Enema trying to get through. Dolly trying to actively score. Bones able to take Dolly to the infield. Tifa and Olive and Bones and Batty all in the back, making sure that Dolly can't get any additional passes. Dolly calls the jam.
So you can see now the Coffin Draggers definitely trying to make the clock their friend as we get to 7 minutes to go in regulation. The Draggers are more than happy to not actively try to score points and instead just burn all of the 60 seconds off the clock they could. And the Scrappers are going to give up a power jam, unfortunately. Dolly Spartan really digging in there, trying to get some more points. We're going to have a team timeout. The Coffin Draggers are going to talk it over. So, Draggers are setting up to have a power jam. We'll see if it's still embezzlement once we get back from the team timeout.
Yeah, and like we were mentioning earlier, it is not uncommon for there to be particular players from teams inside of this league that are earmarked for power jams specifically for all of the reasons. The speed that they can skate, the speed that they can decelerate, their derby intelligence, right? So their speed that they can execute strategy. So it's not uncommon for the whole lineup to switch after a team timeout or an OTO when it's determined that there's going to be a power jam skated.
Well, it's quite literally exactly like it is in hockey. You see in hockey when they switch to they'll switch to a power offense, and then there will be the penalty kill line. And I refer to it sometimes in the middle of announcing. I'll say the penalty kill because I'm thinking in hockey terms. But you'll see that. You will see, like we said multiple times in the first bout, Impaler Swift and Skid Vicious and Scarin Yeager and Dirty Carey. That back wall was basically gave the Bombshells the win. It was really those 3 power jams and then stout defense was the story of that first.
We see you, Bombshells. We see you.
That's right. You got a Bombshells contingent down there.
So probably for the remaining 7 minutes of the game, if you see the Scrappers get lead jam and the Draggers are also out on the same scoring pass, they're going to get what points are available and call the jam. Remember, they're in clock management, right? They want to have as many jams as possible to try to make up for the lead that they're behind. And then the Draggers should do the opposite. If the Draggers are lead, they'll either run the jam if they're the only jammer out, or if both jammers are out, they'll let the other jammer come as close to scoring without scoring any points as possible.
So this is a power jam, as we mentioned. It's going to be Dr. Strange instead, your co-captain of the Coffin Draggers. And, of course, the Schoolyard Scrappers now, it's all defense, but they're going to have to stop this power jam first if they want to stay within shouting distance.
We have a split pack, so everyone in the front slows down. Everybody in the back speeds up, or they should. Here we go.
There
Strange
goes
has to be let out in the front. Remy has to yield the bottom 4 feet, coming around to score on their first scoring pass.
I'm not saying that it's been a hard-fought bout, but I actually think that hole in Strange's stocking has actually gotten much larger as the bout has gone on.
Hey, that is how fishnets are.
There you go.
They get Velcroed, they get snagged. They are definitely they're a one-time use.
Yes.
In bank track roller derby.
So
you're not wearing your
scoring
fishnets more than one time.
That's Batty Matty and Evil Twin at the front of the pack, and there you go once again. They were out of play, but they just kind of both stood there very close together. And Strange had to split them. That's going to be 1 second left, and that's going to do it for the clock.
Jam comes to an end. Strange hands on their hips.
It's a
Waiting for
5
the
point.
report.
There we go. 5 point power jam, but more importantly, 60 seconds off the clock. We're going to have another timeout. That's going to be a Scrappers timeout.
Scrappers timeout.
So Scrappers have used their final stoppage of the clock here with 5:45 to go.
That was a well-executed power jam for the Scrappers.
Very much so. And again, Coffin Draggers definitely scoring of points was secondary. They would have been perfectly happy to just bleed 60 seconds plus break time off the clock, which they did. So we'll check on that here. Looks like they're going to have just Remy Ruckus in the penalty box.
It appears that Strange is in the penalty box as well. So,
so
power O for the
that's
Scrappers.
hence why we have the timeout. Is you
There
take a
we go.
timeout, you switch to your power O, or at the very least, you set up strategy. I would imagine you'll more than likely see the Scrappers do something right off the jump, try to do something to clear Sandy as quickly as possible.
Right, so there are a few things. They could play an all-out offensive strategy where you're going to see occupation, distraction, or hitting from everybody on the blue team. Or if and when there is a Coffin Dragger target back there that they can goad, it would be a smart strategy to try to slow the pack down, because in this situation, if their jammer, the Scrappers jammer, wants to go fast, her teammates want to go slow.
I wanted to holler over at the Bombshells contingent over there. I just wanted to say, hey, slump buster, am I right? That's how you break a skid.
Yeah, it was good.
That was a fun bout to watch. They all are. They are all fun. But
I heard some really good communication and really well-executed strategy from the Bombshells as well. You're welcome.
it's been interesting to see the early going here. The Beauties are now 1-1, I believe, if that's correct. Yes. So the Coffin Draggers actually at the moment are looking in good shape to be the first 2-0 team. Coffin Draggers, of course, won on opening weekend and had beat those self-same Bombshells. So the Draggers at the moment are in the driver's seat to jump to the top of the standings at the moment at 2-0 with the Runaway Brides 1-0.
Okay, multiple penalties being sat by the Coffin Draggers. Nope, just one. Their player arrived right at the last minute, but it is going to be a power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
All right, so the Scrappers now are going to do everything they can. You can see the Draggers have got their defenders parked at the back.
Yep, go ahead. Nope, you see Mimi tried to neutralize Tifa right there on the rail, but Tifa was able to escape. So it should be basically all-out offense. You should see swarming blue skaters trying to make sure that black is separate, and if not separate, confused, and ideally be able to get out. So really hard goading going on in the back by the Kitchuation and Mimi. Sandy still struggling against the last two blockers. Tifa and Stitch is able to neutralize Sandy to the infield, and she has to start over again.
So far, excellent defensive strategy by the Coffin Draggers. There, Sandy's able to get out, but there's only 22 seconds left on the clock, so the Coffin Draggers really just did a great effort from the Draggers defenders that are out there. 13 seconds left now as Sandy makes it around, is going to get this one scoring pass in. Got 8 seconds left, and she's going to give it a shot. Trying to get back around there, and is just not gonna make it, right? I know, I saw.
It's a fantastic effort. She literally needed like 1.5 more seconds.
Yeah.
Yep. And it appears that she was maybe assessed a penalty.
You know, honestly,
as well.
when she first looked up and I saw her look at the clock and sigh and then almost go, all right, and I thought, no, she's not going to get there. And then I thought she was going to get there. Anyway, unfortunately, Sandy has surrendered a power jam back. So this is a power jam for the Coffin Draggers. That's Embezzlement, who was going to do the last power jam, and is now out there to do this power jam for the Draggers.
Mads was successful at that initial stop of M, but M was able to get right out in turn 2. A nice sweep executed by the Dragger offense. M coming around at full speed. Draggers working on Twin in the back to secure that point. Successful. M hits Maddie and Remy in the front. Tries to squeeze out on the lows, unsuccessful. Recycle and re-engage by the blue blockers in the front. Metal takes M to the rail. Metal tries to take M to the infield, is unsuccessful. I heard a thud, and that might have been M on the track. Seems to be okay, recovered, and going in for more points. 10 seconds remaining.
And once again, Draggers definitely are just trying to skate penalty-free if they can. M really not actively trying to get through the pack there. They get all 5 points, though. Be almost exactly 3 minutes to go at the start of this next jam. It's 151-12. The Coffin Draggers have maintained that lead.
It's a hard won, 5 points by the Draggers, but again, a relatively successful power jam. defensive power jam for the Scrappers.
We've got Stitches for the Coffin Draggers and
So
Sandy
Sandy's
once
coming
again
right
for the
back
Scrappers.
through, fresh out of the penalty box. Stitches working one-on-one. Sandy tried to squeeze out right there in turn one. Stitches using this opportunity to possibly get lead jam. Kitch working on Olive. Sandy working on Stitches. Olive working on Sandy. Lots of recycle and re-engage. As Clifton mentioned, now the Draggers are looking to maintain, not do anything heroic. Make sure that they get lead, or if they don't get lead, nobody does.
Sandy still at the back of the pack. Now Sandy calling out some instructions to her pivot Kitch. Meanwhile, academically speaking, Hugs and Stitches did get out, so we did have a lead jammer. But again, the Coffin Draggers just trying to run as much time off that clock as they could, and they are able to do so. No points for either side. We got about a minute and 30 seconds to go.
Right there on the edge.
It's going to be Evil Twin for the Scrappers, and this is going to be Dr. Strange for the Coffin Draggers, and underway we go. Evil Twin quickly to the front. Strange going to get out right behind, so we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a late-game jammer race, and Evil Twin says no sense in calling it now.
Heck no,
so they're
Twin
gonna
believes.
Pair
Let's
down.
go.
They're going to pour down through the turn. There goes Dr. Strange getting down way low going through the corner, and they're going to wind up all in a heap at the very end. Let's see. We're going to have a stoppage in play just momentarily. Official timeout. The Twins down on the edge of the track there, but it appears that she is up and all right. Maybe adjusting something there on her skates and going to get back to the bench under her own power. All right, so wound up at the kind of very interesting contested ending there is 2 points for the Scrappers, 1 point for the Coffin Draggers. Coffin Draggers now 151, which is Ash's number. Hi, Ash.
Okay, just under a minute left in regulation. We'll see how many more jams we can squeeze in here.
All right, everybody pours back up onto the track. We are going to have Mimi Mahler jamming for the first time for the Schoolyard Scrappers this evening, going up against All of You Die.
And they're off. Olive takes the low. Mimi sticks with the mid-high. Increasing your chances of getting out in between a seam or on the rail by staying away from the coping where you often run out of room and can be pretty easily taken to the infield. So Mimi is using the pack just flowing forward to try to maintain momentum, and she's successful. She's out. It's going to be a clean hit on Enema Burns. And Olive's still in the pack. Mimi coming around to score.
The quarter clock.
Olive is out.
The quarter clock can expire here. There's 3 more seconds on the jam clock than there are on the quarter clock, and that's not going to happen, obviously, with Olive getting out, so Mimi calls it off. Checking the score there for the Scrappers. We'll have time for one more jam.
One more
in
jam
regulation.
at least. Let's go.
One more regulation jam. Now lining up, this is going to be jamming for the Coffin Draggers for the first time this evening. That is
Foxy.
going to be number 414, Foxy Razordine.
Woo, let's go.
First jam in their first bout. And oh my goodness, we're going to have some time to marinate on it. We've got an official timeout. So there's going to be a moment here before our final jam. So yeah, don't let the scoreboard fool you. We got one more jam left. And once again, hopefully we will see. That should be Foxy once again in Foxy's first jam of Foxy's first bout. Excited about that. Let's go ahead and give away some money, why don't we, everybody? All right, let's give away this cash raffle. What's the final prize tally? 108. $108. Get those blue prize tickets ready.
Get your blue tickets out. 5, 9, 1, 4, 4, 0. 5, 9, 1, 4, 4, 0. Are you still here? 591-440 must be present to win the 50-50 raffle.
Going
$108 is yours if you are 440. Oh, wait. We have a wait. 591-440. No. Again. Let's go.
All right.
591-275. 591-275. You're gone too? All right. Here we go. Hope you're not in the bathroom. 591-436. What? Y'all wasting my breath. What happened? 436? The first person, we found them.
436.
We found them.
Was that a winner?
That's
okay.
a winner. We found the original winner. Sorry. Thank you, everybody, for playing. 436 was the original ticket.
All right, official timeout coming to a close. We had to get the scoreboard unstuck. The scoreboard decided the game was over. And we're like, it's really not, though. The game's not over, scoreboard. So
We don't make these rules.
Right. 12 seconds left on the game clock.
Okay, here we
We'll
go.
have one more jam to get things started. 12 seconds on the game clock. As we said, that'll become evident momentarily. Schoolyard Scrappers have a power jam. Full Metal Anarchist
Okay, we like a
is
last
going to
jam,
jump
power
out there.
jam.
Unfortunately,
We
no
like that.
Foxy. We'll have to get to Foxy next time. Sorry.
Yes.
So, Foxy's first bout, but not Foxy's first jam. That's okay.
If you're still here with us, give these skaters a
There we
round of
go.
applause. It's a hard-fought 2 hours they've been skating out here for themselves and for you. Clap it up for them. Metal working on the inside, trying to squeeze through turn 2. So one of the most difficult places to escape is in turn 2 and turn 4 at the track's steepest angle. Draggers working together to make sure that there's a structure that Metal can't escape from. Still working, still sprinting. She escapes the front of the pack, coming around on a scoring pass.
28 seconds left here in this Scrappers Power Jam.
The pack comes together in the back. Razor Cat goaded by the blue team. Metal in the infield recovering, actively scoring now. Even if she doesn't get by, a nice low sweep by Twin to open up the low for Metal to get a full scoring pass. And that is going to be the jam.
All right, we'll check on the score from the infield there. That's a 5-point power jam for Full Metal Anarchist, and we will wait and check on the possible existence of penalty jams, yes or no. We will check on it. Here comes head referee Lollipop. And Lollipop is going to signal it with that whistle.
Congratulations,
Your final
Coffin
score.
Draggers. 2-0 for the season.
Final score 151 to 122. Coffin Draggers. And as Al just mentioned, the Coffin Draggers are 2-0 on the season. And they sit atop the standings with the Runaway Brides at 1-0. And now here come the Scrappers on around. Scrappers an excellent effort as well. Final lead for the Coffin Draggers was just less than 30, so Scrappers kept it close throughout. All right, Derby fans, don't forget the after party is at Boycott Bar. You can nav it if you don't know where it is, but that's on.